Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I had the opportunity to rise in this House not long ago and ask the government what it was doing about what has very clearly become a crisis that has made it so Canadians cannot afford food. We know that food bank usage across the country is experiencing record highs. Food banks all over have huge demands, including in my riding, where the St. Thomas Elgin Food Bank will have to feed 30,000 mouths this year. This is the third straight year of record increases. Now, I asked about this, and I'm going to quote directly from the Secretary of State for Labour, who responded. He said, "We are going to be building. We are building homes and building projects in the national interest with Canadian lumber, Canadian steel, and Canadian unionized workers." Now, I'm not sure what the affordability plan for groceries is, but I don't believe Canadians are going to be eating Canadian lumber. I don't believe Canadians are going to be eating Canadian steel, and I certainly hope they're not going to be eating Canadian unionized workers. The government, in its response, didn't even address groceries or food costs, and I understand why. I know fully well why the government is not interested in talking about grocery prices, because they would have to acknowledge what has happened to them on the Liberal government's watch. We know that food bank usage is up 142% since 2015. We know that grocery store food prices have risen by a staggering 40% since the Liberals took power. And now we have a report from Food Banks Canada showing that hunger is being normalized. Normalized. That's a word from the experts. That now food bank usage for Canadian families has not become something that is an extreme situation, that is just a temporary stopgap, but rather is part of what life is for them. That is a tragedy, Mr. Speaker. It is a crisis, and it is one that has been aggravated and exacerbated by Liberal government policy. We do know, contrary to what I'm sure the parliamentary secretary is going to say tonight, there is a number of hidden taxes. There are a number of hidden taxes on food costs in this country, including the industrial carbon tax, which actually taxes the producers of food, which then trickles downstream to consumers. Regulations on plastics and packaging, which make it more expensive for producers and packagers of food, and then that gets passed along to consumers. These are hidden taxes on groceries that, along with other inflationary measures, are driving up the costs for Canadians of buying groceries. I have heard from constituents who have had to make difficult choices from week to week about whether they fill up their car so they can get to work or whether they buy groceries. We know people are skipping meals because they cannot afford the grocery store hauls that they used to. Is this the new normal, Mr. Speaker? Is this what Canadians are going to be forced to contend with? Because we have not seen from the government